I'm sad once again. It's the end of the series with Danny and myself, Danny Suede. If you've been tuning in this week, you're up to date. It's powerful. If you missed, go back to part 1, Monday. Part 2, it's here on the playlist. It's all there for you, show notes and everything. We're bringing it all together. From practical sleep strategies to nutrition wisdom, Danny shares his complete toolkit for mental wellness and personal growth. Learn how to overcome stagnation, tap into your dreams, and just take those crucial first steps towards your change, because you can do it. If you've been waiting for the right moment to transform your life, this episode is your sign for sure. Join us for one final conversation with Danny Suede that will inspire you to start leading your own way. Any moment to lead your own way starts now, if you're not already. Anyway, if you like a good story, this is one definitely for you as well. Anyway, thank you for joining us here and subscribing and leading our own way. If you're not, please press the button. Until Monday, after the episode with Danny, have a great weekend. Keep leading your own way. I mean, that's great. I mean, you're still pretty young. You're 28 years old. You're 28, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you're 28 years old, and you've realised that at such a young age, because I think it took me till I was like 37 to start thinking like half to what you think. So I think you're on a good trajectory there somehow.
Yeah.
Outside of that, then, have you've made a very clear picture of how healthy you are. Have you ever been unhealthy outside of the mind?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always been pretty like fit, you could say. So I've never been like overweight or anything like that. But there's definitely been times like I've done a lot of drugs, and there's like when I was on tour, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll to the max. Like it was just party mode, right? And so there were tours where I would drink every day. I would smoking cigs, doing coke, like just freaking savage, right? Not sleeping, partying every day, just running at 100% and just ripping it, 110%.
1,000%, probably.
Yeah, straight up. So there's been times where I was definitely unhealthy, 100%, and just not caring what I ate. But man, that young body, it's like, what do they say? Rubber and magic. Like it just didn't faze me. I just, was fine, and then too, like during those times where I was really depressed and stuff like that, I was smoking a lot of weed. I wasn't sleeping that good. I was exercising, but it was really, if people are curious, I have a blog post and a YouTube video called The 4 Pillars of Mental Health.
I was coming to that next.
Okay, you want to go into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, so that's the framework that I basically built to keep the demons away. And the way I think of it is that your mental health is like a ceiling, right? Held up by 4 pillars. And this is just what works for me, or how I think of it. But you think the first thing you need is your foundation, which is your purpose or your why. And that's can be hard to find and know. A lot of people, it's their family. A lot of people, it's a religious imperative. A lot of people, it's just hedonism. They just want to be happy and feel good and have a good life. Some foundations are better than others, but I'm not here to judge, right? But you need a foundation. You need to figure out why you want to be alive if you're going to be alive.
Yeah.
And so once you kind of have that, these 4 pillars stand on that. And the first one is your mental habits, right? And this for me was huge. It's like we were talking about earlier with gratitude, right? If something bad happens, you can have a mental habit of going, oh, why does that happen? Oh, I hate that, man, that sucks. Oh, why me? Right? You can have a habit of always going victim mode and thinking of it negatively. Or you can have a mental habit of saying, okay, this happened, this sucks, but what are the positive things I can bring out of this, right? What is the positive side of this? And start looking at things you can be thankful for, and that finding the good in the bad. That's just one of those. Just really being self-aware too, like mental habit wise, of noticing. I would start, like for me, I would go down these mental spirals, right? And it was like the gravity just got stronger and stronger the further you got sucked down. And I started noticing that, just having the mental habit of just starting to notice at the beginning, which is easy to pull out. And I literally have this mental image of a plane going into like a tornado and going roar and like pulling up and getting out of there. And that's what it feels like. I'll notice, I'm like, oh, I'm going down this thing. My mind's starting to rev up, these negative thoughts about myself. And just having the mindfulness to notice that and do something to get out of there, whether it's a cold plunge or working out or just, there's a million tips and tricks for what you could do. But those kind of mental habits and just getting to know yourself and your mind and what your tendencies are and starting to develop them on purpose through meditation and through habit building to have good mental habits, right? So that's kind of the first pillar is I think, your mind.
Yep.
Next we have, so I would say diet, right? So, and it includes drug use or substances, right? For me, it's just kind of what you're ingesting, right? And it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like, I was watching some clips you posted of this dude talking about how underrated it is. Like, people don't realize how food just, if you eat bad food, it just makes you so depressed. It's so bad for you, right? It's
Paul
just,
Taylor, was it?
yeah, I think so.
The neuroscientist? He's out next week. But
nice.
Months ago when you come out.
I saw a clip of it on your WhatsApp, but I was just like, dude, I was like, preach when I saw that. It's so true.
Yeah.
How if you have a bad diet, you are what you eat, man. If you have a bad diet or if you're doing substances, if you're doing drugs, if you're drinking, it's like nicotine, coffee. People don't realize I myself and other people I've seen go through insane withdrawals from caffeine, right? Not knowing it. Right? Yeah. Where you either didn't get your coffee for a day or two or forgot, or you're traveling. And then you're like, I've been in these horrible mental states where I'm just mad and freaking out and I think my life's falling apart. And I'm like, oh, I'm just literally withdrawing from this thing that I'm dependent on, which is caffeine. And so just being aware and intentional about what you consume, massive. And then you got exercise, right?
Yep.
I think one of the best things on the planet for getting yourself out of one of those spirals, one of those death spirals, go sweat. Breathe hard and sweat. It just, man, it's a good reset. Aside from like a cold shower, it's like, for me, when I get in a death spiral or I want an instant state change, right? Where I'm like, I am uncomfortable in my skin and I feel horrible and I need to change my state. It's basically workout, cold shower or cold plunge, or Wim Hof breathing exercises. Hardcore breathing exercises, state change like that. The most reliable state change you can get. And two, having a healthy body, being strong and looking good and being fit and feeling good about yourself goes so far, right? If you have that pillar standing there where you're proud of yourself, you do something every day that's hard that you're proud of yourself for, those things just pay dividends. Like, it's crazy. So exercise, massive. And it's literally the how you look, how you feel, how good your body works, how fast you can move and run, and your reflexes, and like being strong and fit is nice. Like, it's nice to be able to lift stuff and run and jump on things and whatever. So makes your life better. So exercise, huge one. Last one, sleep, right? Oh. It's interesting when I was watching this thing of Brian Johnson, who's that Don't Die guy.
Longevity guy.
They asked him, what's like, if you're triaging like worst things for your health, like what's the worst thing, like the first thing you need to take care of? He's like, sleep, by far and above.
Yep.
Most important thing by far, dial in your sleep. And so that's another one. I know if I eat late in the day before I go to bed, I'm going to mouth breathe all night and I'm going to sleep bad and I'm going to be grumpy and depressed the next day more than usual. I just know it. And so that's why I have an evening routine now that's pretty dialed as well as my morning routine. And my sleep schedule is like, I was in, when I was in Bangkok, I did this thing called Time Left, where you go and you have dinner with random strangers. It's like an app. And then it just pairs you with you buy a ticket and it pairs you with, tells you, go to this restaurant on the day, and you just roll up and there's 5 other randoms there and you have dinner with randoms.
Love that.
Yeah, it was cool. But the thing is, and it's a lot of young people. And then after the dinner, all the other tables throughout the city that were doing it all go to this big bar, right? And so we go to do it. And we're finishing dinner and it's like 9:00, which is my bedtime. And I'm like, sorry guys, I'm out. I'm not going to the thing. And they're just like, come on, you gotta go, and and roasted me. But and they're like, it's 9:00. What do you mean it's your bedtime? I'm like, bro, I take my bedtime so seriously, bro. I'm freaking sleeping, bro. Like, I'm dialed. I got dreams and goals. I'm not gonna go drink alcohol. Like, I wanna be a legend. Like, I can't, be out there doing that. So I want to feel good. Quotes. Yeah, I want to be a legend, dude. I straight up do. But so those are my 4 pillars, and that has been immensely useful and successful for me. And like I said, I haven't been in those dark places since then because of that, when I think of it like that. Because if one of those pillars is out of whack, I started doing a thing where when I was building the framework for the pillars, when I started to get really depressed and I'm like, I don't want to be alive and I hate my life and I hate myself, I would just say, okay, is one of those pillars out of whack? Always the answer was yes. Always.
Yeah.
Every time. There was never a time where all those were intact and then I wasn't depressed. So I was like, okay, I just need to focus on these.
Yeah. I'm going to make you think slightly different about sleep. Just so you know, I completely agree with everything you say about sleep, but check this out. I listened to a podcast, and this has blown my mind. And so eyes go when I first say it, and they go, "Oh God, yeah." So if you think about it, sleep doesn't make sense to the human physiology, because as humans, our 3 innate things to do is survive, reproduce, and eat. 3 things you cannot do when you're asleep. You're vulnerable to each of those things. So you can't eat, you can't defend yourself, and you can't reproduce when you sleep. Yet the human brain, for 7 million years the human physiology has been around, has not evolved out of. So that just shows you how important sleep is.
Yeah, that is an interesting point.
Right.
That's crazy.
I heard that about 3 weeks ago. I think they still
don't exactly know what the whole deal is with it, right?
Well, that means it's that important. We cannot understand it, yet every human does it every single day.
Yep, that's crazy.
That just shows you how important it is. So what we do have to do is learn about what the brain does whilst we sleep to understand it better and understand the importance of it. And it's pretty crystal clear, right?
Yeah, the other thing about sleep I learned that makes me want to hit my bedtime is what Brian Johnson was saying. He's like, if you have your circadian rhythm, right? Within that rhythm, the first 2 hours of sleep, or maybe it's deep sleep or REM or something, but there's a period within that circadian rhythm where your body does the cleaning, basically takes out the trash, right? All the toxins and cleans everything.
Yep.
If you miss that and go to sleep after that, it doesn't do the cleaning. It doesn't go, okay, you go to sleep, now do the cleaning. It's just, if you miss that part in the circadian rhythm and you're not asleep for when the trash truck comes, you just build it up for the next day. And then that's why you feel so bad. It's funny, even now, I'll sleep bad or I'll stay up too late, go to bed at midnight because I had to do something happened, whatever. And I'll feel hungover the next day, even though I didn't drink. And I'm like, hangovers aren't from alcohol. They're from your sleep being disrupted. That's really what it is. You know?
Absolutely. I've noticed that even when I eradicated sugar from my diet, I live now with what Paul Taylor will have explained when that episode was published, an 80-20 rule. I got rid of sugar for a long time, and it made me the clearest I've ever been. I lost 9 kilos in 3 weeks, and I couldn't exercise because of torn meniscus in my knees. So it wasn't exercise why I lost the weight. And I left my job, so I got rid of stress, cortisol. Levels went down. I got rid of the sitting cortisol in my belly. Because exercise doesn't help you lose your stress if you've got it. You have to eradicate the stress. Exercise won't necessarily help you lose weight if you're stressed in life. It will sit in your belly. Your cortisol will sit. You could run till the sun goes down. You will not lose weight if you are stressed in your daily practice. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's why people say,
zero
I can't
sugar.
Sorry?
You just do zero sugar.
No, I don't now. No. I did for a while. I've reintroduced it slightly. I used to have 4 sugars in my coffee. I have 0. I eradicated sugar from my food, so ultra processed foods. I still eat processed foods, but not ultra processed foods. And processed would be like my canned fish.
Yeah,
that's processed. Butter is processed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of milk because that just brings a lot of inflammatory on my lower back, ankylosing spondylitis. Chocolate I kind of got rid of, but I treat myself, and that's the 80-20 rule. If it's movie night, I'll lash out on bloody good chocolate. I'll go crazy on some good quality stuff that I really enjoy. Sometimes we have a McDonald's, and you know what? I'll go all out on the McDonald's. I'll kill it. But
what do you get? What's your McDonald's?
I change it every other week. Sometimes it's like the triple Big Macs and then a double quarter pounder, whatever.
Yeah.
I love the fries, but I know that comes at a cost. The next day, it's the hangover, but it's the hangover on my back, right?
The inflammation,
and I feel sluggish. But I now am self-aware, and I know the cost of it, and I know why it's doing it. So now I won't do it as much. Whereas before, I'd have a McDonald's every week.
Yeah, the self-awareness is such a big thing, because for me too, it goes back to the mental habits with the pillars, but it's like back in those times when I was so depressed, it compounded because I didn't know what was wrong. I was like, I literally want to die, and I don't know why, right? I don't know why I feel so bad, which just makes you feel hopeless. You're like, I'm just broken. I'm just a broken person. I just need to tap out because I don't know what's wrong.
That's it.
And I feel like I know some people have just genuine depression where there's like actually a chemical imbalance and issue with their brain that causes them to be depressed. I'm not saying that's not real, but I do think a lot of people think they have depression and they really just sleep bad, have a bad diet, and don't exercise and have bad mental habits. They don't have depression. They just have horrible habits and they think they have depression, right? Which was me. And so I think there's a lot of that going on. And that's what I'm saying with the self-awareness. Those negative mental states, it just cuts the knees out of them when you think, okay, I know I slept bad and I ate a McDonald's and I'm going to feel depressed because of that. Cuts it at the knees rather than the next day after that. You just think, I'm depressed. Oh no. Why am I depressed? Right. So that's a huge thing, is just the self-awareness of paying attention. So big thing.
Massive. So from the development of the 4 mental pillars for you, and I could go through my own pillars. I call them the 4 C's of contentment. Very quickly, I'll run through it. So first one is connection. I love people. I love connecting, and always been running jokes about me and talking and stuff like that. So connection is the first one for me. I always love to be around people and make people feel like they've known me for years. I could go to dinner with you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. And so are you, though.
I noticed that.
Yeah, so are you.
Oh, cool.
So connection is the first one. 2, contribution. I think that's probably subconsciously why I became a teacher. I wanted to contribute somehow. I wanted to climb the ranks, not to be a principal for my own sake, but I actually wanted to produce other good principals. That was my long-term goal a while ago, because I really wanted to impact not one community but several. So I thought, how do I do that? Well, I can become a principal myself and then become a principal's mentor, so help people become good principals. That's now gone, don't get me wrong, because of the effects it's had on me in the workplace. So contribution. Okay. My contribution now is the podcast, public speaking, the book. Third one is cope. Within cope is what you said, is sleep, exercise, and mindfulness.
Okay.
That goes under the C of cope. Okay. And the last one is cook, nutrition, diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I think that brings contentedness, because when you're content, that's long term. Happiness kind of can dip, it can change. I do think there's a long term element of happiness. I don't think it's an emotion where you're just happy and then you're not. I think, like, you could piss me off right now, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm happy in life.
Yeah, I see.
I might get angry. Fear might even set in, or frustration might set in, or sadness might even set in. But tomorrow, because of the work that I do, roll off my back, I'm still happy in life. I'm not depressed because you said something mean to me. Do you know where I'm coming from?
No, that makes sense. It's I feel like your framework is like how to be content, right? And I think, because like it includes my pillars. I think my pillars, it's just how to not want to kill yourself. Right. It's not like how to be happy necessarily. It's just like, this is just how to, like, bare minimum not be like baseline in the dumps. Right. Yeah. And then I think the connection and the contribution, adding those, and then that puts you in an excess. I think that's a very cool point. I love that. Yeah.
Beautiful. So with you, the development then of the 4 pillars, pillars.
They're more like pillows now that you know that.
Don't know where I got pillows from. Where did your life then go in that direction before we come to the end? Where did that change your life, and where did it lead you to where you are now?
It led me winding all around, but it just gave me a baseline to start finding myself and to start pursuing my dreams more and more and more, and honing it in, right? And so over those years, especially with my music, it's a lot of iteration and trying things, and trying this, trying that, finding out what kind of art I want to make, finding out who I want to be, right? Finding out all these things. It just kind of allowed me to have a good launch pad to start figuring those things out. And through that, I've just built myself more and more into someone that I like over time by routine and, the different things that I do. And so now I'm just at a point where I am very happy where I'm at. And it's a double edge, because I'm extremely grateful, but I'm also, like, compared to where I want to go, I'm on the first rung. Like, I'm on the very bottom compared to my plans and what I want to do. And a lot of times very dissatisfied with the amount of success I had. Like, I want to just absolutely impact the planet. Like, so, it's not like I got that far necessarily, but I am way more confident in where I'm going, what I want, what my purpose is, how I'm going to do it. And like I said, I'm making the best art I think I've ever made. I'm starting to do it more with purpose. I'm starting to just feel more confident in it. And man, just a whole other thing we missed is me leaving social media, right? Since I quit social media, I've lived so much more life, right? And that came from me writing and doing my blog. And writing about my life and what I like and what I don't like, and writing about social media and stuff like that, and helped me realize how bad it is for me. And so once I quit that, I just have lived more life than I did in the past 5 years in the last 1 year, because I just put that stuff away and just started get dialed on what I do. And I started traveling and just, seeing so much of the world and meeting different people and experiencing different cultures and different places. And it's just been amazing. So I'm just keeping it going and just running it,
Love it. What a great journey, man. And that's inspirational. And I hope anyone that's listening will be able to take pieces of you and just put it where it fits into their lives beautifully, so. You've just mentioned their future plans, and that's one of my questions that I love to ask. Where does the future lie for Danny Suede then?
So, okay, let's see. So I'm headed to Bali right after this, and I've got that music video and that song coming out, Sunrise, thumbs up. Yeah. And then I got another song after that called Soldier coming out that's a collab, and it's just, I'm in love with it. I just think it is it's the type of song honestly, both of them, I'll cry listening to it. When I got like the master back and I'm like listening to it, and it's like happy cry, right? It just makes me feel so full of joy and love, and I'm just like, this is it. And I love it. I'm so excited for the world to see it. And so I got that. I got in Bangkok, so when I was in Bangkok before this, I hired a Thai band to do a live studio recording of one of my other new songs that's coming out later after all that, and which I'm editing right now. But it was so sick. And like one of the dudes spoke like a little English, and I had a translator that helped me book everything and do everything. And I got to play with this band in front and play the ukulele and sing. And I've never done that in my life that way. And it was so fun, and it's just a vibe. So that's going to be coming out. After Bali, I'm headed out to Hanoi, Vietnam. But I'm just doing YouTube vlogs of everything. I got so many sick YouTube videos in the works. I've got so many sick blog posts and ideas I'm working on, making tons of music. So happy with everything I'm making, and just feel like it's just putting happy, good, inspiring things into the world, and just got it loaded up. So
beautiful.
That's where I'm at. And I don't know where I'm going after Vietnam. I'm just we'll see.
Melbourne.
Yeah, maybe.
Melbourne, Australia. So with anybody then that's listened and can connect with your journey, or just you've given so many pieces of wisdom out, but what general advice could you give to anyone that might be feeling stuck and connect with some of parts of your journey?
So I would say my like mission statement or whatever is, and my like end goal or purpose, what I think is to prove to myself and other people that life can be more of what you dream. So that's one thing I would say is like, know that life can be more of what you dream. It can. And it sometimes seems like it can't. It almost always seems like it can't. But you got to know that it can. And it may not be how you think. It may be not exactly how you want or how you expect, but it can be. And I think on one hand, I would tell people to be honest with themselves, like really self-reflect and be just brutally honest with what you really want. It's so easy to lie to yourself and say, I don't really want to do that, or I don't really care about that, or this is fine that it's like this, right? If you're really honest with yourself, take a look in the mirror and be honest. And if you want to say, hey, this is what I really want, but maybe I'll never do it, that's okay. But just start the journey of be truly honest with yourself, and at least just plant that little seed of what do you really want? What do you really want your life to be? Who really are you? Or who do you really want to be? And that can be very difficult. And I still struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I have to be like, bro, don't play yourself. Like, that this is what you want to do, or that this is the right thing to do. So I would say that's super important. And then the last thing I would say is just start. Like, whatever, if you have something you want to do, you're not going to know how to do it. I feel like the default for everyone is they want to do something and they just overanalyze, try to make a bunch of plans, try to figure out how it would go. The human brain and the human being is meant to deal with stuff in it, right? So get in there, and that's how you figure it out. You're never going to, not never, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to figure it out looking from the outside in. You got to get in there, get freaking dirty, twist around, try what can you do, figure it out. And that's how you make it happen. And that's how you figure stuff out. You got to just dive in. You're not going to feel like you're ready. You're not going to know how it's going to happen. You might be like, I have no idea how this is going to be successful or work, or how I'm going to find a way to make this work. But just start doing it, start building it, start whatever you want your dream to be. I would just encourage people to just jump right in and don't wait till you feel like you're ready or you have everything figured out, because you're never going to have it figured out. You got to figure it out in there. You got to go in and figure it out.
I agree.
So.
And this is why the podcast exists, because I took that advice from somebody and I just started. I had no idea what I was doing with this stuff. I still don't to a certain point. One thing I know I'm pretty good at is talking, and that's why I just went for it.
Nice. I love it. Good for you,
Yeah.
man. Keep it up.
And I never expected it to be where we're at now. So, and hopefully by the time I publish yours, I'm even higher.
Let's go,
Not
dude.
that I'm bothered, but just reaching more people,
Dude.
I mean, to help people. That's
Yeah.
the angle I'm going from. And, you know, touching on the dream thing, you know, I deal with kids every day, and I never ask kids anymore what job they want when they're older. You know what I do ask?
What?
Similar to this book here, I say, what is your dream?
Let's go.
That's the question I ask. I don't say, what job do you want? Because I say most of the jobs you're going to have, if you're going to have a job when you're older, they probably don't exist right now. So think big. What is your dream?
That's so amazing, dude. I wish I had a teacher like you. When I was in I remember my teacher when they went around the class and asked what you want to be, and I said a musician and an artist. And my teacher basically scoffed at me. It was like,
yeah,
right. I was like, dude, I wish I had you as a teacher being like, what's your dream, dog? I'd be like,
thanks,
drummer.
I did used to ask.
I love that you're doing that, man. That's so powerful. It's for kids, man. They're so what do you say, impressionable, like getting like, dude, a teacher encouraging the kids to dream and like stoking that. Oh, it's so fire. I love that.
Get them to think big, because if they don't think big, they'll still end up happy doing a job that they really enjoy in anyway. At least they fucking tried.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different story.
I love
A whole
it,
new episode there, Danny. Final question. It's very crystal clear what your purpose is, but I always ask the guest to put it into a very simple line. What is your purpose?
It's to prove to myself that life can be more of what you dream, and myself and others.
Love it.
Yeah. So
Danny,
that's what I feel like the vibe is.
Mate, you're a vibe.
You too, dude.
Definitely vibe.
Yeah, you're really good at this, and it's so funny how you're talking about the connection to see, because I get so nervous when I do podcasts, and having the pre-chat with you and talking to you over WhatsApp and everything. Really, I didn't feel nervous for this, and it's just I felt very at ease, and you make it really easy to have a conversation. So I genuinely think that is a
Thank you.
Awesome quality. I think you're really good at it, and I think you should keep it up.
Thanks, man. That means the world. You. I'm going to tear up actually, but so I probably should shut this off. But
Let's go.
It's funny.
Dude.
It's
Let
funny.
it rip.
No, well, yeah, I have done before. Don't you worry. I was going to bring up that actually because you brought up anxiety earlier, and I was going to actually ask you, were you anxious to do this? But you've answered it, so. I'm glad that you feel like that, because like I said to you before, my number one priority is the guest feeling safe. So
that's amazing, dude. You really do with the pictures and everything. Like I said, I felt maybe a little bit like, oh, I hope I don't say something dumb. But at the end of the day, like I was honestly was surprised logging on. I was like, honestly, like, thank God I'm not freaking out right now. So I really think you did a good job of
thank you, man. That honestly means the world. It really, really does. And I'm not just saying it, genuinely.
Lucky guests on here.
I
wish I could always feel like that when I do an interview.
You're getting
scary.
more comfortable with the uncomfortable though. So
yeah, true. It's not that I can handle it.
You can.
But
you were
it's
great.
Nice to not have to handle it. So
yes, that's it. Danny Suede, it's been a pleasure having you on my journey with me, sharing your journey. You're welcome back anytime. But when you get big, don't forget about leading our own way, okay?
I will not forget. Thank you so much. I had a great time.
And you're stuck with me as a mate now, so unlucky.
Love it. Let's go.
Danny Suede, thank you so much. You're an absolute inspiration. You live in the dream. Keep living the dream. Keep dreaming. And if the clouds are better symbolism than that from all your pictures, it's brilliant.
Head in the clouds, baby.
That's it. Absolutely. Okay. There's no, what's the saying? Somebody's gone past the limit of the sky. And that's if we've gone to the moon, we've already reached past the sky, haven't we? So the sky is definitely not the limit.
It's a nice place to be, though.
Oh, absolutely. No, of course it is. That's probably the best place to be, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate you and what you're doing, and I know people will be able to take a lot away from you. But until next week, everybody else, keep leading your own way, just like Danny Suede over here. Come back for another inspiring guest next week, and have a great weekend. Bye for now.
Thank you, Andrew.
Cheers, Dan. Thanks for listening and watching Leading Our Own Way. So we can stay together forever and share more incredible journeys, please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss next week's episode and what that amazing guest has to offer to the world. Please support Leading Our Own Way, and we'll get you on next week's episode.